Welcome back to the Coin Studio. Stay with me, because today we're uncovering a coin so rare and extraordinary, it's valued at $315,000. If you love hidden treasures and incredible coin stories, make sure to like this video and subscribe so you never miss a discovery. Let's get started. First up, the 1949 Australian penny, a coin that quietly moved through history before rising to legendary status. The year 1949 was a turning point. Australia was stepping out of the shadows of World War II, rebuilding homes, industries, and dreams. Money was practical, essential, and trusted. Pennies were everywhere. They paid for milk, newspapers, and tram rides. They lived in pockets, purses, and cash drawers. No one imagined that one penny from this year would one day become one of the most talked about coins in the nation. At the heart of this penny is the iconic kangaroo design. Strong, grounded, and unmistakably Australian, the kangaroo had already become a national symbol. On the 1949 penny, the design reflects stability and resilience. The kangaroo stands firm, balanced by the surrounding text, creating a sense of order during a time when the country was seeking exactly that. Turn the coin over and you find King George VI. His portrait places this penny firmly within a historic window. It represents the final chapter of his reign and a period just before major changes in Australian coinage. This connection to royalty and transition gives the coin historical depth far beyond its size. What makes the 1949 penny truly remarkable is how few of them survived in exceptional condition. While many were minted, most lived hard lives. They were exchanged countless times, dropped, scratched, and worn down by decades of use. Only a tiny number escaped heavy circulation. Those survivors became rare witnesses to the past. Collectors later noticed that certain 1949 pennies showed unique characteristics. Slight differences in striking quality, metal composition, and overall finish set them apart. These subtle details transformed a common-looking coin into something extraordinary. For experienced numismatists, these differences are like fingerprints, proving authenticity and rarity. As interest grew, the 1949 penny began appearing in conversations among serious collectors. Auction houses took notice. Experts carefully examined known examples, documenting their features and histories. Each confirmed piece added to the coin's reputation, increasing its demand and mystique. The fascination with this penny is not just about money. It is about discovery. The idea that something so valuable could have once sat unnoticed in a child's collection or an old family tin is thrilling. It reminds people that history often hides in everyday objects. Condition plays a major role in the worth of this coin. The sharper the kangaroo's outline, the clearer the lettering, and the smoother the surface, the more valuable the penny becomes. Time is unforgiving, and every surviving detail adds to the coin's story. This is why collectors treat these coins with such care and respect. Beyond its physical features, the 1949 Australian penny holds emotional power. It connects modern collectors to post-war Australia, to a generation that rebuilt the nation with determination and courage. Holding this coin feels like holding a piece of that spirit. Stories continue to surface of unexpected discoveries. Old collections revisited, inherited items re-examined, and forgotten coins suddenly recognized for what they are. These moments fuel excitement and inspire new collectors to look closely at the past. Today, the Australian Penny Kangaroo of 1949 stands as a symbol of hidden wealth and historical importance. It proves that value is not always obvious at first glance. Sometimes, it takes time, knowledge, and curiosity to uncover the true worth of an object. This penny has earned its place among Australia's most prized coins, admired not only for its rarity but for the story it tells. A story of recovery, identity, and resilience captured in copper. And now, the detail that truly defines its legendary status. One exceptional example of this rare penny has been valued at $267,000. Now let's move forward and uncover the next rare coin, a piece of history with its own powerful story. With that chapter complete, it's time to turn to the next coin and explore another hidden treasure. Next up, this is the 1944 Australian penny. In 1944, Australia was deeply involved in World War II. Resources were limited, emotions were stretched, and the nation was united by survival and strength. Money was practical, essential, and heavily used. Pennies were not collected or admired. They were tools for living. People used them to buy necessities, to save small amounts, and to keep daily life moving forward during uncertain times. The kangaroo design on the 1944 penny feels especially powerful when viewed through the lens of history. The kangaroo stands firm and balanced, symbolizing endurance and stability. At a time when the world felt unstable, this image quietly reflected the spirit of the nation. It was not just decoration. It was identity pressed into metal. On the other side of the coin appears King George VI. His portrait anchors the penny in a specific historical moment. It reminds us of Australia's ties to the British Crown and places the coin firmly within the wartime era. Coins like this do more than represent value. They mark time. What truly separates the 1944 penny from countless others is its survival story. Wartime coins were produced under pressure. Materials were carefully managed, and quality could vary. Most of these pennies were circulated heavily, worn down by years of constant use. Many were lost, damaged, or destroyed. Only a very small number escaped that fate. Over the decades, collectors began to notice that certain 1944 pennies displayed rare and unusual characteristics. Slight differences in striking, metal quality, and detail made them stand out. These differences were not obvious to everyday people, but to experts, they told a remarkable story. A story of scarcity born from wartime conditions. As awareness grew, the 1944 penny slowly gained legendary status. It became a subject of intense interest among numismatists. Auction houses documented known examples. Specialists examined surfaces under magnification, searching for the sharpness of the kangaroo, the clarity of the lettering, and the preservation of the portrait. Each confirmed specimen felt like uncovering a lost artifact. The condition of this coin is everything. Time leaves marks, and every scratch or worn edge tells a tale of survival. But the few that remained in extraordinary condition became priceless witnesses to history. Their untouched details made them incredibly desirable. What makes this penny even more fascinating is how ordinary its beginnings were. It may have once rested in a soldier's pocket, passed across a shop counter, or saved by a family during hard times. No one knew its future. That sense of hidden destiny is what captivates collectors and history lovers alike. Beyond its monetary importance, the 1944 Australian penny represents human endurance. It comes from a time when nations were tested, and people found strength in small routines and familiar objects. Holding this coin today feels like holding a silent reminder of courage and perseverance. Stories still surface of unexpected discoveries. Old collections inherited, dusty boxes opened, and forgotten coins rediscovered. Each story adds to the legend, reinforcing the idea that history often waits patiently to be found. Today, the Australian Penny Kangaroo of 1944 is no longer just currency. It is a national treasure. It stands as proof that even the smallest objects can carry immense value when history, rarity, and preservation align. Collectors around the world recognize this coin as one of Australia's most remarkable numismatic achievements. It is admired not just for its scarcity, but for the era it represents and the journey it has taken through time. And now, the final detail that transforms curiosity into amazement. An exceptional example of this rare wartime penny has reached a value of $315,000. As we continue this journey, the next coin awaits, carrying a new mystery and remarkable value. Next up, The 1964 Australian penny, a coin so ordinary at first glance, yet so powerful that collectors around the world dream of owning it. Today, we dive deep into one of Australia's most mysterious and fascinating coins. In the mid-20th century, Australia was changing fast. Cities were expanding, industries were booming, and everyday life was filled with the sound of coins clinking in pockets. The humble penny played a vital role in daily transactions. It bought bread, newspapers, and simple joys of life. Nobody thought twice about it. Yet among millions of pennies struck that year, one particular variety would later shock the world. The 1964 Australian penny carries the iconic kangaroo design, a symbol deeply tied to the nation's identity. The kangaroo, strong and forward-moving, represented progress and resilience. On the reverse side, the design felt familiar to Australians, almost comforting. On the obverse side stood Queen Elizabeth II, marking Australia's connection to the British Crown. At the time, this coin was simply money. Nothing more, nothing less. What makes this penny so extraordinary is not just its age, but its rarity. During production, small changes and experimental processes sometimes occur in mints. Most coins are melted down or corrected before they ever reach the public. But occasionally, a few escape unnoticed. These rare survivors become legends. The 1964 penny is one such legend. Collectors later discovered that a very limited number of these pennies were struck under unusual circumstances. Some theories suggest experimental minting, others point to errors or special test strikes. Whatever the truth may be, the result is the same. An incredibly scarce coin that should never have been common, yet somehow existed. As years passed, most people spent their pennies without a second thought. Many were lost, damaged, or destroyed. But a handful were preserved, sometimes by pure luck. A child saving coins in a jar, a collector with a sharp eye, or a family passing down old change without realizing its importance. These quiet moments of chance helped protect one of Australia's most valuable numismatic treasures. The surface of this coin tells a story of craftsmanship. The metal, the sharpness of the kangaroo, and the fine details all play a role in determining its importance. Even tiny differences in weight, thickness, or texture can separate an ordinary penny from a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. This is what makes coin collecting so thrilling. History hides in the smallest details. Over time, word spread through collector communities. Stories circulated about a penny that could change lives. Experts examined examples with magnifying glasses, measuring tools, and decades of experience. Every confirmed specimen added to the mystery and excitement. The 1964 penny became more than a coin. It became a symbol of hidden value. For collectors, this coin represents the ultimate dream. Finding something priceless in the most unexpected place. A reminder that treasures are not always locked in vaults or buried underground. Sometimes they sit quietly in old drawers, forgotten wallets, or family collections waiting to be rediscovered. Beyond money, this penny holds emotional value. It connects people to Australia's past, to a time when currency was simple and tangible, when money had weight, texture, and sound. Holding such a coin feels like touching history itself. Today, the Australian Penny Kangaroo of 1964 stands as one of the most talked about coins in the country. It sparks curiosity, fuels debates, and inspires new generations to look twice at the change they carry. It teaches a powerful lesson. Never underestimate the ordinary. And now, the moment that leaves everyone stunned. One confirmed example of this legendary penny has been valued at $243,000. Let's shift our attention to the next coin, where another incredible story begins. Next up, this is the Australian Penny Kangaroo of 1952, a coin that has transformed from everyday currency into a symbol of rarity, mystery, and astonishing value. The year 1952 marked an important chapter for Australia and the world. It was a time of rebuilding, hope, and transformation after years of hardship. In homes, shops, and streets across the country, pennies were part of daily life. They passed between fingers without a second glance. People could never imagine that one of these small coins would one day become a legend. The design of the 1952 Australian penny is instantly recognizable. On one side stands the proud kangaroo, balanced and alert, representing the spirit of Australia itself. Strong, independent, and always moving forward. This design had already become iconic, but in 1952 it carried even deeper meaning. It reflected a nation stepping into a new era with confidence and determination. On the opposite side appeared the portrait of King George VI. This detail alone makes the coin historically significant. It belongs to a short and important period in Australian coinage, capturing the final years of his reign. Coins like this serve as silent witnesses to moments of transition, marking the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. What truly elevates the 1952 penny from ordinary to extraordinary is its rarity. During that year, production numbers were limited compared to other periods. Some pennies were struck under conditions that created subtle differences, barely noticeable to the untrained eye. These tiny variations later became crucial clues for collectors and experts. As decades passed, most of these pennies vanished from circulation. They were worn down, misplaced, melted, or forgotten. Only a very small number survived in remarkable condition. Each surviving coin became more than metal. It became a survivor of time. Collectors began to search. Coin dealers examined old collections. Families rediscovered jars of coins hidden in cupboards and drawers. With every discovery came excitement, but also careful inspection. Authenticity mattered. Condition mattered. History mattered. The 1952 penny demanded respect and attention. The value of this coin is not based on age alone. It is shaped by scarcity, preservation, and demand. The sharpness of the kangaroo's outline, the clarity of the lettering, and the smoothness of the surface all contribute to its importance. Even the smallest mark can change its status. This is what makes numismatics so fascinating. Every detail tells a story. Beyond its monetary worth, the 1952 Australian penny represents something deeper. It connects generations. It reminds people of a time when money was tangible, when coins carried weight and meaning. Holding this penny is like holding a fragment of Australia's identity. Stories have emerged of people unknowingly owning this rare coin for years. Some discovered it by chance. Others inherited it without understanding its significance. These moments fuel the imagination. They remind us that history often hides in plain sight. Today, the Australian Penny Kangaroo of 1952 stands as a reminder that true treasures are not always obvious. Sometimes they are disguised as ordinary objects, waiting patiently for someone to recognize their value. This coin has earned its place among the most sought-after pieces of Australian currency. Collectors around the world continue to admire it, not just for its rarity, but for the story it tells. A story of a nation, a moment in time, and a small copper coin that defied expectations. And now, the detail that captures everyone's attention and leaves jaws dropped. This legendary penny has reached a value of $223,000. And finally, we arrive at the last coin in this remarkable journey, a true finale that brings history, rarity, and value together in one unforgettable piece. Next up, this is the remarkable story of the Australian penny of 1939. In 1939, Australia stood at the crossroads of peace and war. It was the final calm before the storm of World War II. The nation was still grounded in tradition, routine, and familiar systems. Currency reflected that stability. Pennies were essential to daily life. They bought bread, paid for transport, and settled small debts. No one saw them as collectibles. They were simply part of survival and structure. The kangaroo design on the 1939 penny feels especially symbolic. The kangaroo stands poised and steady, a powerful emblem of Australia's strength and independence. At a time when the future felt uncertain, this image quietly represented resilience and readiness. It was more than art. It was a statement pressed into copper. On the opposite side of the coin is the portrait of King George VI. This detail firmly places the penny in a critical historical era. His image marks the beginning of his reign and a period filled with responsibility and challenge. Coins like this are not just currency. They are historical documents that capture moments of leadership and transition. What elevates the 1939 penny into the realm of legend is its rarity combined with timing. This coin was produced at the dawn of a world-changing conflict. As war approached, priorities shifted. Materials became valuable, production methods changed, and circulation intensified. Most pennies from this year were heavily used, worn down by constant handling during uncertain times. Very few survived in exceptional condition. Many were lost, damaged, or melted down over the decades. Those that did survive became silent witnesses to the last days before global upheaval. Their survival alone makes them extraordinary. Collectors later discovered that certain 1939 pennies possessed unique characteristics. Subtle differences in strike quality, surface texture, and overall finish set them apart from ordinary issues. These tiny details became critical markers for authenticity and rarity. To a trained eye, they told a story of limited survival and historical significance. As awareness grew, the 1939 penny began to command serious attention. Experts studied it carefully, documenting known examples and tracing their histories. Auction houses recognized its importance. Each verified specimen added to the growing legend, pushing its status higher within the world of numismatics. The thrill surrounding this coin lies in its contrast. It began as the most ordinary form of money, yet it now stands among the most valuable. This transformation captures the imagination. It suggests that priceless treasures can exist in the most unexpected places. Condition plays a crucial role in the worth of this penny. Sharp details on the kangaroo, clear lettering, and minimal wear dramatically increase its significance. Time has not been kind to most coins from this era, which makes well-preserved examples incredibly rare and deeply desired. Beyond numbers and rarity, the 1939 Australian penny carries emotional weight. It represents the final moments of a world before war, a reminder of normal life before everything changed. Holding this coin feels like touching a pause in history, frozen in copper. Stories continue to emerge of astonishing discoveries. Coins inherited without explanation. Old collections re-examined decades later. Forgotten pieces suddenly recognized for their true importance. These moments fuel fascination and inspire people to look more closely at the past. Today, the Australian Penny Kangaroo of 1939 is recognized as one of the most important coins in the nation's history. It is admired not only for its scarcity, but for the era it represents and the journey it has taken through time. Collectors across the world consider it a masterpiece of historical currency, a small object with an enormous story, a reminder that history does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes, it whispers through metal and time. And now, the detail that defines its legendary status and leaves everyone stunned. An exceptional example of this rare penny has been valued at $450,000,